X55 is a bodyweight workout with three main goals: advance core and cardio training, master the basic plyometric exercises. I'm talking explosive power exercises. We're also going to mobilize the ankles, the hips, and improve our gait. You'll be done in 20 minutes, but first, I got to show you what to do. Though this is a bodyweight workout, you absolutely do need some equipment to do this particular routine to the maximum effectiveness. Now, I'm going to show a couple options here, but ultimately, you need a stable and wider slant board. What we're doing a lot throughout this workout, we're trying to simulate uphill and downhill activities, all right? So without access to a slant board, we can't do this inside. We can't do this in a hotel room. We can't take this to the gym. Now, if you have a ramp or a hill close to your home you can use, then fantastic, do it. Otherwise, you've got to get the equipment. Now, the portable ones, these smaller ones, are not going to be as good for this workout. We need something that's wider, more stable, that allows both feet to go on. So it's not going to slide on you as much because we are doing faster, more explosive exercises. So all the heels elevating and toes elevated option, we elevate the heels. We're going to be simulating downhill conditions. When we elevate the toes, we're simulating uphill conditions. Another thing I'll recommend, just as a kind of a basic option, whether it be padded gymnastics flooring or something like what's called the sand dune stepper. This is supposed to simulate sand. It's got a nice bounciness, and what this will do is basically dissipate a lot of the landing forces. If you are over 40 indoor, have a history of lower body injuries or joint pain, it might be worth investing in a nice soft padded surface. Now, this is not cheap, and neither is a gymnastics pad, but we're talking about maybe taking those joint impact forces down 50% or more. It makes a big difference. This also has a high and a low side, and there's some of the movements here where we can kind of simulate elevating the toes and elevating the heels. It's not perfect, so I definitely recommend getting a slant board and or both of these options. So this will work well for any kind of sort of jumping or those types of activities as well, to kind of round out your program and just dissipate, again, those impact forces. This floor is super hard, so anytime I can avoid jamming my whole body weight into it, I do so, all right? So you will need a slant board, ideally the bigger version, and if you have something like this, either gymnastics flooring or a sand dune stepper for some of the other higher impact movements, I'd highly recommend it. Anytime I'm about to do some really aggressive high impact or plyometric exercise, we're talking power, speed, elasticity, running, sprinting, I definitely recommend, one, heating your lower body joints, all right? Hot tub or bath and or heating pads, 5 or 10 minutes. It'll go a long way to opening things up and just preventing injury. The other aspect of it too, particularly for the ankle and calves or Achilles section, let's do a really extended range of motion calf ankle sequence here. So what I'm going to do is take my slant boards. You can do this with the big ones and the small ones. What is 20 degrees now becomes about 40 degrees. And what I'm going to do here is get as flush as I can, at least 2 to 2.5 minutes each side. If you have a tighter side, spend more time on that side, or start on the tight side, do the less tight side, then come back again to the tight side. Do it twice to really open it up. And again, we can just basically first focus on squeezing the glute, getting full extension in the hip while we keep that heel down and just massively stretch the calf statically. Then we can start to add a little bit of side-to-side motion, even some kind of turning. We're just trying to make sure that, again, your ankle will never have to be this stretched when we're doing the power exercises, but you want to have the ability to go there so that when it does or gets close, it's not going to pull, strain, or risk a tear, all right? I can also then start to do some knee bending. Again, I can start softer, and then I can start to be a little more ballistic with it. Trying to drive the knee over the toe, go in, go out, and just really kind of bounce into that stretch, right? This is a low-level plyometric right here. We're trying to get ready for, get some bounciness going, all right? The stretching so that when we do more strength-based movements, we're ready to go. So definitely recommend this, that extreme joint angle, ankle calf stretch sequence, at least 2 minutes per side, and then double up on the tight side. Before you can sprint or jump, you must be able to bounce. All right, bouncing is entry-level plyometric work. What is a plyometric? We're talking about creating a very fast stretch and recoil response. all right? Think about rubber bands or think about a trampoline. So what we're doing here is we're going between toes and then heels elevated. The toes elevated option is designed to maximally stretch the toes, the feet, the ankles, and the Achilles. Prep it for the advanced power work to come. So we just start kind of, nice and easy here. And I don't have to have my whole foot on the slant board. I can just kind of make sure that midfoot up is there and the heel can be on the floor. And I just start by kind of just slowly driving those knees over those toes. And I can shift my weight more to one side and bias my left and then bias my right. And then as I'm warming up into it, all right, if I'm not feeling any pain here, that's a good sign. If I do feel some pain in my anterior knee, that's probably a sign this workout is not right for you just yet. We can still work on this. The goal is I should be able to do this aggressively without any knee pain. But if this bothers you, jumping, running, those types of more advanced drills will be too problematic. So we start there, warming it up. Then I elevate the heels. And what that's going to do is now really warm up the quads, get those knees even more juicy. All right, so we go from more of an ankle focus with the toes elevated, with the heels elevated. Now we're going more of a knee focus. And I'm just bouncy. Again, I can shift it to one side and work on kind of firing this left leg more, this right leg more. I should feel no knee pain. And I can start nice and soft. And then as the set warms up, I get a little more bouncy and kind of plyometric with it, all right? So bouncing. This is something I would do anytime before I'd walk and run, just to get nice and warm and loose. And you can already feel the blood flowing to those joints. So bouncing is the start of all good plyometric work. Submaximal paused jumps. And again, start light and easy on these. If 10 is the biggest jump you got, you're testing your vertical jump at the combine, all right, trying to secure $1 million plus contract versus 1, all right, start at about 1. Nice and easy. We can ramp up every jump, but we are also pausing, and this is submaximal. You never should get higher than about 50% of a maximum jump because we're playing with these joint angles now, all right? So I'm going to start with a nice toes elevated jump. And the big focus is anytime you are emphasizing a vertical jump, you're going to hinge a bit at the hips. We don't want to be too bent over. So what we're trying to do initially here, again, anytime I elevate the toes, I am trying to get more mobility stress through the ankles and really open up the calves as well. So I load up, and when I load it, you notice I turn my thumbs out like this, all right? Inhale down, exhale up, and then land, and then hold it. Take your time there to feel that position. Do a little bit of shifting. This is a mobility focus, and I can even do a little bouncing in between reps to kind of keep priming those joints. Land soft. Land soft. Okay, and then keep working on driving those knees forward and getting that trunk as upright as possible. Now, if you can do that, toes elevated, it's much easier to do it on the floor. Now we go heel elevated. And again, this will bias us to get more onto the toes, and this will then stress low quads and kind of really get those knees warmed up. It also allows us to get really upright trunk. So inhale down and kind of keep your gaze projected at the slant board. We're not trying to, again, jump off too high. Just get a little bit of lift. Land soft, stick it. Pause isometrically and own it. Make sure all those muscles can own those shapes. And then I can keep building on that, but again, try to get down and land soft. And then try to work on knees forward, trunk upright. Such a great sequence, particularly after the bouncing warm-up. The submaximal pause jumps keep priming us. This whole starting flow is basically plyometric mobility, okay? So good stretches here too. And again, if you wanted to make the full set just all kind of padded and like kind of sand type like feel, I could also mimic it on that, do a little bouncing in between. All right, just again, dissipating those landing forces. Lateral fast foot agility, first toes elevated to stretch the ankles, then heels elevated to really hit those low quads and warm up those knees. Now, again, this is a mobility focus. So we're adding an agility component, which means change of direction, which is very important to not only athletic performance, but injury prevention. Most injuries happen not in the acceleration phase, but in the deceleration or pause, stop, change of direction phase. So this will help you a lot, particularly because when I go toes elevated, I am preloading and stretching the ankle joint. So I want you to take your time with it. We'll be exhaling across, inhale to recover, and then pause and own the shape and keep using that breathing strategy. So nice and slow. And when I get here, I'm trying to load up this side, but I'm also trying to, again, take your time to work on the position of trying to stretch and bend more while keeping your trunk upright. Here is no man or woman's land, or whatever the case may be, in sport. Here, I can see, I can react. I'm no good down here, all right? So keep working on trying to get that position going. I can even kind of pause, bounce a little bit in the position. All right, so again, big stretches going on there. And you'll notice from the bouncing to the submaximal jumping to the lateral fast feet agility, it keeps getting looser and looser and looser. Same concept here. And again, this is really gonna fire up your low quads. It's trying to get you comfortable with being here, reactive like this, but this can be really bothersome for the knees and unstable. But what this does, right? See, the slamper gives me the stability I need to kind of get ready for it. So same concept. I'm here, and then sit into it, sit tall. If you find yourself bending too much, adjust on the inhale, pause. Get the arms going. And again, remember, this is still warming up. We're not trying to crush it. We're just trying to get loose, bendy, gradually get our center of gravity down, all right, and our core temperature up. Power march to skip. First toes elevated, then heel elevated. So now if someone's really tight, cold, hasn't done anything in a long time, going to this type of angle like this and aggressively bringing that knee, even adding a skip where you leave the box, that could really pull something, right? But we've warmed up into this, so respect the process. And again, starting slow with more of the march. If you're finding on a march where exhale up, inhale down, toes elevated first, you're feeling some massive stretch coming through into that ankle Achilles, again, that means that needs more love. Off days, pre-workout, post-workout. But again, we've warmed up into this. The skip is just us adding a little more of a pop in the hip flexion component, the leg lift, and also pushing off the toe just a bit to leave the board. So, and by receiving one leg at a time in this stretch position, again, we're adding more and more resilience to the lower half of the body with explosive movements. Again, this will be like I'm uphill, running or sprinting or skipping. This is exactly what this is mimicking. So, now the heel elevated component, that is just now gonna get us, again, more low quad focus. Keep the gaze enough toward the board, just so we can make sure the feet are landing appropriately here. Again, starting, and while I do this too, I'm trying to really drive through the heel, even though I'm on the toes more, driving the heel, really extend the hip and almost kind of lean back a bit. Because again, this is mimicking downhill. So, and the skip is really challenging. Do your best. Opposite arm leg. Exhale up, inhale down. So again, going through the whole flow here. See how warm I'm getting? And again, it's also training you. You got to be precise with your foot contacts. All right, so keep a slight gaze down. But I love this power march to skip flow within this workout warm-up flow, but also outside of an actual workout. It's just an awesome power elasticity exercise. Uphill and downhill running. Now I'm going to show you how to do this in place with a portable slant board at home, on the road, wherever you are. But I also, part of the reason we're doing this is I do want to encourage you to both walk and run using hills. The hill is amazing. Why? Going uphill, what does that do? It makes my muscles work harder against gravity, but it also reduces the joint stress and impact. Now, downhill is the opposite in the sense that when I'm going downhill now, there's more gravity, more deceleration demands on my joints, okay? And my muscles are more focused on decelerating my body so I don't fall down the hill. Going uphill, it's more of an acceleration emphasis, but we're gonna use both. And what I want you to do, again, we're going toes elevated first to stress the ankle. A lot of times people will be running uphill and they'll strain their joints because they're not used to training at these angles. So we're trying to stay tall up top. We're trying to keep the knees nice and soft. Even kind of just start just with some bounce on here. And then all we're gonna do, you can just make a continuous smooth inhale, exhale through the nose, or go 4 contacts, inhale, 4 contacts, exhale. And I'm starting kind of nice and tight and quick. And then I'm bringing more range of motion and leg lift into it and just trying to get a good stretch into the ankle and calves, right? So that's how it's looking. Turning the other way, same concept. I'm gonna start nice and slow and just kind of just picking the legs up, all right? This is simulating what it's like running downhill. And I don't wanna be, all right, that's where you can hyperextend the joint, all right? You gotta lower your base, your center of gravity, get a good solid base of support here. Start with more of a pitter-patter. And then I can start lifting the legs more, which will just challenge. I can start dropping my hips more, all right? The lower I get, the more stable, but also the harder the thighs are gonna work. So again, such a great sequence to really bulletproof your lower body and allow you to excel uphill and downhill. And then when you get to flat land, it's all yours. So we've done an extended plyometric mobility flow. Now we're going into a 4-minute, 8 exercise power circuit or plyo stack. Full body, this will really fire up your metabolism, get that metabolic post-workout afterburn going from the anaerobic style of training, but also it's not gonna be very high volume. This is just a quick, hard 4 minutes, but it's as hard as you make it. You've now warmed up and you've earned the right to push, but the first time through, again, you gotta feel things out. Every time you come back to this, and this plyometric circuit can be done for the rest of your life, by the way, and you can continue to make gains off of it. So don't think you've got to be a hero today. You want to just go through it, learn it, but we are going hard and fast. These are shorter duration work periods. All right, so just want to give you a heads up on that. And we got a nice, good cool down to follow this 4-minute block. But now I'm giving you the right now to push yourself, being intelligent, all right? But we got to push and work in these short work periods to get the most out of the routine. Fingers elevated mountain climbers. Now you can do these hands on floor, but elevating the fingers will stretch the wrist more, especially with the speed of movement too. This will give you a ballistic wrist mobility effect. We've done so much for the ankle, but the ankle and the wrist is basically the ankle of the upper body, okay? So we gotta treat it with the same amount of respect. So I get here, I'm trying to get as much weight forward as possible. 4-4 cadence here. 4 leg exchanges, inhale, 4 leg exchanges, exhale. The key is you gotta really push away as far as you can underground to clear space for the legs and keep driving that knee towards the chest and then really get the speed going on this. This is an all-out sprint set. Squat pulses, you'll do 1 set higher and then 1 set lower. And it's different than the bounce in the sense that we're maintaining an isometric squat position, and then I'm quickly moving just above it and just below it. So here's what it looks like. Hands here, here, and these are quick exhale, inhale sequence here, pulsing breathing. I should feel the stress in my front thighs, my quads. Elevating the heel helps with that. And also, I want to drive that knee, keep the knees forward and stay upright in the trunk, but really quick up and down here, all right? The lower level, you sink to as low as you can, pain-free, all right? While being athletic, you don't want to go so low that we're like doing a deep ass to grass squat, but I'm here. So these are really quick explosive contractions, but they're lower impact than actual jumping. It'll also help you get ready for some of the jumping to come later in the circuit. Fingers elevated speed push-ups. Again, we want that aggressive wrist mobility work. And here's the rule of thumb as well. Later on in the circuit, there's a plyo push-up where you actually either clap, hands leave the ground. If you can't do 10 speed push-ups in 20 seconds, that means that you should do this again and or elevate your hands significantly to unload your body weight to do the exercise properly. So all I'm gonna do here again is explosive inhale down, explosive exhale up, lock in a good solid plank position, push away. Up and down fast, all right? Priming our upper body for the more aggressive plyometric exercise. And again, we're also bouncing between upper and lower body movements here to keep intensity high and allow one area to rest while the other is working for max training economy or efficiency. Lateral leaps, getting that good side-to-side action going here. Now again, you can do any skater jump variation we've done in this entire program. Here's just another variation where I am really trying to help you get more upright trunk, more forward knee position, more quad stress and knee fortification. I put both of these slant boards up against the wall, heel elevated setup, and because of the wall, I can't get this leg back as much, but I can't push my hips back and hinge, so I've got to be really upright. So it's going to force me to get the mechanics I'm looking for. I can't maybe get down as low as I'm used to, but again, nice and easy here. Exhale across, inhale to land. Keep dropping the hips more, all right? So it's kind of like a skater jump, except I can't get back as much. Again, I'm just showing you another variation, but you can go with a pure skater jump on this that involves the slant boards or just on the floor. But this is a great option, just as I'm talking about throughout the program here. I'm trying to get you comfortable, trunk upright, knees forward, stay athletic, especially when doing athletic movements like this, okay? So that's a nice variation we can add to the mix. Toes elevated plyo push-ups. Now, you don't have to elevate the toes, but I like to do it because what it gives me is a slight angle where I'm focusing more on the push-off with the hands. So it just gives me some stability too, but you don't have to do it. But here's what it looks like. And again, if you can't do 10 regular push-ups, full range up and down in 20 seconds, you're gonna have to do that again during this section of the workout, and or elevate your hands significantly so that this feels like a fast, explosive exercise. You can't be grinding out these reps. That's strength, that's not power. And the same thing applies to the speed push-up. If you couldn't do, maybe you only did like 3 to 5 fast reps in 20 seconds, that means the floor is too hard for you right now. You gotta elevate, okay? So this is speed power we're training. But here's what it looks like. We can do a couple options. One is where I just like really push off. Like these are my feet, pushing off. Fingers on my toes, pushing away. And it looks like this. I can also, and you notice how my body was a plank, all right? Everything was moving for my upper body joints, all right? So that's the focus there. Just really inhaling down, exhaling up, pushing the pace, trying to get maximum, where the speed version was getting up and down as fast as possible. The power version is about you getting off the ground as much as possible, maximum force. Tuck jumps. Now this is the highest impact exercise in this entire workout. So I really want you to be mindful here. A softer padded landing surface is highly recommended. I also love doing these in the pool personally because it actually gives me resistance for the legs and hips to work against without any of the gravitational impact stress, but I'll show modifications. So what is a tuck jump? All I'm doing is quickly, gonna kind of start a little bit on the balls of the feet. I'm just gonna quickly pull my knees up as high as I can, almost like doing a hanging leg raise, but airborne. So I'm gonna power exhale up and then I'm gonna try to land soft, inhale to recover. And these aren't continuous, you can pause briefly between reps. So here's what it looks like, one rep. You can inhale to start, land soft. Now, being on this type of padded surface, I might not be able to be as explosive, but it's gonna take away the impact stress, like almost being in sand or again, a gymnastics pad. So I'm locked in, land soft. Now, modifications can include taking dip bars or chairs and kind of just using it for support and quickly so I'm working that explosive hip power, but I'm assisting with my upper body and it's unloading the landing. Again, not perfect, but a modification. A final option is you kind of bounce and only one comes up quick. So it's an alternating single leg tuck jump. We take away the impact stress, still working that dynamic explosive power. But again, long term, some people do this exercise like really like 60 plus seconds. It's a lot of stress. No more than 5 to 10 reps in a given workout is plenty on this. But when you go into the pool and you use softer landing surfaces, then it becomes less problematic. Again, here's what it looks like on the ground. Big inhale, get it up. Enjoy this one. Finishing off this plyo stack with a pause, Bach, squat, jump. I recommend thighs approximately parallel to the floor. There's no benefit in going deeper because we just don't do power exercises from such a deep position. That's more mobility, strength focus here. All right, so we get locked in here. We're gonna come from a dead sit. I'm gonna reach out for counterbalance as I sit here, exhale up. Land soft, briefly pause. Inhale it down. So the goal here is 10 reps, no more than 10 reps in 20 seconds. And just try to keep every rep, get a little more off the ground. When you sit onto this, to take away the stretch reflex a little bit, which makes your muscles work harder, but it also unloads some of the landing forces just for joint safety and get more mileage out of your plyo training, right? No need to overly stress the joints. But where the tuck jump is more emphasis on hip power, this is more about generating power through the ankle and the knee. So it's a great combination, but that is the plyo stack. Right now you should be fired up. Finisher, mobility focus. Now, what do you notice? Your whole body is sweaty. All your joints are nice and lubed up. And this is actually a great time to now work on your kind of more ass to grass deep squat mobility. Go heels elevated just to get better positioning. And I can work on just kind of going in and out, shifting my weight one side to the other. I can even work on getting one leg forward, whether the leg stays on the floor, I elevate it to kind of work on my pistol shape, block it out like that. I'm just assisting off of a back bench or chair, alternating sides a bit. I can also kind of work on pumping, if you will, out of the bottom, going from that more active shape. And I'm also looking to see, I'm prone to getting my right knee a little more forward than my left. And that's the pelvic asymmetries that happen to me. So I have to kind of work on that, and I can just kind of even them out a bit. But I can also go from truly passive to lifting to thighs parallel to the floor, and I'm actively strengthening. So this is more stretch, this is more strength. Still emphasizing the bottom portion of the exercise. Final thing I'll show you here, and again, you can just have fun with this to loosen things up, is start working in some toes elevated squatting. You can tell it's very difficult, right? Because I'm super stretched here, like it wants to push me back. But the deeper a squat I can get into from a toes elevated position, the deeper I can get into in all other squat variations. So have some fun with it. Make your post-workout report in the comment section below. You're done in 20 minutes. I congratulate you on going through this entire, as part of this program, there's been a walk-run progression to get you to the point where you go from walking to ideally running, even sprinting, and more advanced power stuff. But we did it properly. Mobility focus, stability focus, breathing, and we built you up to this point. So I'm proud of you for getting here. Have fun with this workout, and this is something that you can use indefinitely for your walk, run, sport performance, because it's all about getting you bouncy, athletic, bendy, without pain. Love you guys. Peace.
Go.
Halfway. Half weight. Rest. Go. Half weight. Go. 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 Half weight.
Go.
Rest.
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 Go. halfway,
Rest.